I know. I have lambasted Flutter in past, but past is past and one should not dwell in past. So Flutter has recently achieved this major milestone in its development cycle, that is hitting a stable 1.0 release, and it's about time to try out this cross-development mobile application development framework from Google and see how it stacks up against the likes of React Native and all. So in today's video, we are going to see how the entire process of creating a simple Flutter application looks like. So in today's video, I'm going to create a simple application where I am going to throw a simple button, and on that button's press, I have to see a simple pop-up stating whatever message I provide, right? So it is going to be a simple application, but in today's video we are going to discover this entire process of developing applications with Flutter and how does it feel like. So let's dive right into my laptop and see for ourselves what the entire process is all about and what needs to be done to do that. So here, let's dive right into the laptop. So first of all, we have to open the browser. Then we have to visit the official website where we can get to see the entire picture about this Flutter thing, because I have been to this website, hence I already know the address, and go straight to get started. And seems like the internet is slow or what? Reload speech? Nothing. So I think I have to select this thing, and there are some system requirements and all, but most of the systems will be capable enough to run Flutter. So okay, so we have to download this Flutter Linux stable tar. Okay, so it is going to take some time to download the tar. So in the interim, let me explain, like a few days back they held this conference about Flutter, and there they told us that they are like creating this new project Hummingbird, which would allow web developers to run Flutter based application, which means that you can write a single application and that application will run across the devices and platforms, which means that your single application will run on iOS, Android and the web. So I think that it is actually a good thing. React can already do that if you are proficient enough in creating reusable components, but Flutter as of now is not yet capable. But when Hummingbird is ready, then Flutter will be at par with React Native, or you can say it would be much better than React Native. React Native is struggling quite a lot lately because of companies dropping out of React Native and all, but Flutter is showing constant progress. Hence I think that one has to be really aware of this Flutter, and one should really take this thing, Flutter thing, seriously. Okay, the download is done, and let me just go to the downloads folder. Here it is, and let me open a terminal here, and then we can run this command, Flutter 1. Okay, so we have to do tar xf, and then not this one but Flutter. Alright, so it is going to take some time because apparently it's also a big file. Technically not so big, but still it's a tarred one. And then we have to set the path. Path. Oops, making so many mistakes. P PWD. Then Flutter bin. Okay, and let me see if it can find Flutter, and it can actually. So let's scroll down and run this Flutter doctor command. So the process is still the same. When I first tried this Flutter thing back in like May or June, the process was still the same, and it is still the same. let me not Flutter Docker. I always write Docker because Docker is my favorite thing since peanut butter. But let's see, Doctor, Flutter Doctor it is. And this command hopefully will tell us whatever that is wrong with our system, and we need to fix that thing before we can create Flutter based application. Okay, so there are a bunch of problems. So the first of all, Android toolchain. Some Android licenses not accepted. So let's accept the license using this command, doctor Android licenses. Pressing a couple of times, and let's run Flutter Doctor again. Okay, then Flutter plugin is not installed in Android Studio. Dart plugin is not installed. VS Code, the version is not up to the mark. Connected devices, no. So let's boot up Android Studio first. So let me open a new terminal window and let me go to tab Android Studio. This is the location where I have installed Android Studio, and hopefully, so this will start Android Studio, and then we have to install this Flutter plugin. Okay, so the instructions must be down here on this page. Path, install Android Studio, set up Android device. Next step, then close this thing. Okay, Android emulator is done. The next step is configuring the editor, which I hopefully will involve setting up Android Studio. So okay, so this is something we have to follow to install the Flutter plugin and Dart plugins. Preference plugins, it has to be somewhere in the file menu. Settings, plugins. Okay, this is a plugin thing. Let me just search Flutter, search in repositories, Flutter languages. Okay, browse repository. So we are actually doing it correctly. Install this thing, accept this thing, install whatever, click next, and it's downloading the plugin and all. Restart Android Studio, apply, okay, restart Android Studio. Android Studio is like very slow to load, and I'm not a fond of Android Studio, but still we have to make do with whatever resources are available at our disposal. I like working on VS Code and Atom more than this Android Studio thing, but this is an official IDE for Android development, so I have to use it. And since Flutter is compatible with Android Studio, hence I think that's better to set this IDE up for Flutter development. So now you know the actual reason why I am setting up Android Studio, because we can write Flutter based applications using VS Code as well. Okay, so we have got Flutter, and what to do now? Test try. So this will hopefully tell us how to create a new project, and let's skip this entire thing and create a new Flutter project on our own. So new Flutter project, then hopefully the wizard will guide us through the entire setup process. Flutter application, Flutter plugin, Flutter package, Flutter module. So Flutter application it is going to be, and just the clicky BTN application, Flutter SDK path. So I think we have to select the Flutter SDK path, which is mm, downloads Flutter, this thing, this path. Okay, I think SDK path. Right, so this will be the SDK path, and /bin, I do not know. I don't know what is happening. Install this thing. What else can be done? I do not know. This is supposed to be the Flutter SDK. So I don't really know why Android Studio is still complaining about Flutter SDK not getting found. But just click this button, and there are so many edge cases like this which you get to see when you are actually doing the actual software development. You do not always get to see this kind of things in tutorials and all, because in tutorials and courses we or the content creators or the authors do take care of all such edge cases, and we chisel those edge cases out carefully. So I think it is again downloading that thing. In the interim, let's try to Google certain things. First of all, Flutter create button, because that's what we have to do. Widgets or widgets, because I was lambasted due to this widgets word, because I mispronounced that word. So this time around I am going to say it correctly. It's widgets, not widgets. So widget, this raised button widget. So we are going to create, oops, is it in official documentation? No, it is not. So let me see, where can I find some official documentation from Flutter guys. Add interactivity to your Flutter app. Okay, so here hopefully they will tell us how to add a button, a widget that looks like a button technically. Okay, Flutter widgets, let me Google that thing. Button widget, buttons. Okay, so raised button, how to create one. Flat button, raised button, how to create one, how to do anything in this thing. So Flutter is a reactive framework as we know it, because this is a Google's answer to React Native. So it has to be reactive, and it is, if you go and look for yourself in the documentation part, you will see that it is a framework inspired by React. So this framework is actually reactive. It is still cloning Flutter repository. Let's see, Flutter create button. Still we haven't got our answers. Raised button. Okay, so let's get back to this unofficial thing, and hopefully we'll get to see. So this is how you create a button. Okay, so we are going to throw this code into our new project to create a button, and then we will just create a sample action. I am following this hacky way of creating an application with this Flutter framework because I am just trying out things, right? But in case you want to learn it methodologically, you can follow this Flutter startup guide from cover to cover, and it is going to take up a considerable amount of time. But here we are actually trying to hack a simple application away as fast as possible. So we are going to rely on a couple of Google searches, and that is it. I think I should better go and prepare some tea, because this process is taking quite a lot of time, and I certainly do not know how long it is going to take. So let me just go and prepare some tea for myself. And the tea is ready. Sorry Nescafe, but this mug contains tea, not coffee. And this Flutter thing is still going on. The cloning is still not complete. I do not really know. Like, let me just Google button click event. Is it there here? Rest button, rest button, rest button. Nothing is there. Okay. Then I have to Google Flutter, rest button, click. Working with rest button, Yuvraj Pandey. Rest button, rest button, rest button. Super, whatever. I do not care. Okay. Create a state. Subject number. I do not care about a state because our application is not going to have a state. All I care about is the click event. How to capture that? Should be here somewhere. Children raised it on press. Okay. So this thing, this on press thing. Right. So first of all, we have to throw in a button. This raised button. And then we have to use this on press thing, and in this on press thing we have to pass in a method, and inside this method we have to create a pop-up. So let's see how to create a pop-up in Flutter. Flutter create dialog, because in Android those are known as dialog. The pop-ups are known as dialogs. Dialog class. Okay. Flutter alert dialogs. This is what we are after. Alert dialogs, alert dialogs, alert dialogs. We are following a couple of non-official tutorials, but that's okay. Show dialog. Context builder alert dialog. Okay, this thing. So I think we have got everything. So creating a button here, then the press event here, and creating a alert dialog here. But let's go back and see. Man, it is still not complete. We are already like 20 minutes in, and this thing is still going on. So how big is this repository, Google? Does this contain TBs of data? I know my net connection is slow, but is it this slow? Cloning Flutter repository, because I think this is also like the Flutter repository, or we can create a full-fledged Flutter application using this thing if we were using VS Code or something like that, but we have opted to go with Android Studio, and now we have to pay the price. Every single time you have to install anything via Android Studio, you are setting yourself up for like some indefinite waiting. Okay, something is happening. Building Flutter tool. Okay, let's fasten our seatbelts because I think that it is about time to write some Flutter code. This is why I despise Java related development. Although I have started my career as a Java developer and I am very proficient when it comes to coding in Java, but I certainly do not enjoy coding in Java. I like JavaScript or Node.js related ecosystem better than this because it does take way lesser time than this Java related development. Still downloading something, downloading Linux x64 tools. Man, I do not really know, seriously. This thing is getting on my nerves now. So it has finally, thank God, has completed, and now we can press this next button. Company details, that's rainstudios.com. Okay. What? Just nothing? Where is my Flutter application, man? This is not the Flutter application. This is some random application I created just to set things up when I was like installing Android Studio. Where is my Flutter application? No thanks. I think it is doing some work in the background. Is it the Flutter application? I do not think so. Open what? It seems like nothing has happened. Let me create a new application again. Flutter project. What is happening, man? YouTube and Flutter. Okay. All right. Creating Flutter project. So the first time around actually nothing happened. Now it is actually creating Flutter project. What just happened, man? New project, yeah, new window. Open this in new window. I am already getting irritated now with this Android Studio thing. Now this is nothing new when it comes to Android Studio. Okay, so where is our Flutter application? So this is a Flutter application. Let's quickly launch this application. No device setup. Flutter.io.setup. So setting up the emulator. Okay, run the application. It's not running. Set up an editor. And let's go to install. Setup editor, Android Studio, test drive. What about the emulator part, man? The emulator is not launching from this button. Flutter setup. Node connected devices found. Please connect a device or see Flutter IO setup. Let me go to this thing. Flutter IO/setup. What is up, man? Linux thing, getting the SDK and all. I think I missed something. Okay, Android Studio, enable VM acceleration, all. Android Virtual Device Manager. We have to go to Virtual Device Manager. This one, AVD Manager. Okay, so this is quite different than Android development, because in Android development, as soon as you click on this button, it will automatically show you a list of options you can choose from. So you can choose from the available AVDs and then the AVD will boot up. But here, this thing is just not able to do that. So it's okay. Let me boot this thing manually. Okay. Alright. So hopefully now I can press this button and it is still unable to find it. The virtual device is there, everything is there, but it is unable. Okay, now it is able to find. Hopefully things will work out. Initializing Gradle. Oh my god. So Gradle, I just hope that it would not download Gradle again, because this Gradle thing takes up quite a lot of time. Like seriously, this Gradle thing is quite slow, very slow. Initializing Gradle. Then some Gradle processes will kick in. Oh my god, we are in for some obnoxious ride now. Let me Google this. Why is Gradle so slow? And this is something I do every single time. I launch Android Studio. So finally, the project has launched. After more than 1 hour of fiddling around. Man. Okay. Apply changes. Okay. So we have got this button and this thing should okay. So we have to lose this button. How to do that? Children. Floating button and this thing. I do not care about this button. So let's get rid of this button. Press save and hot reload should work. Hot reloading is working. Okay, and many times we have to main access center. We have to child column, whatever it is. I do not care about it. Children widget text and that text. Okay, so we have to get rid of this as well. Alright, so hopefully, alright, now we can use our raised button here. Let's go to this raised button, and what we need to do, new raised button, or what? Raised button, something like that. Okay, raised button. How to use raised button, man, in the application? New app bar, widget, raised button. Where is raised button? Children widget. Okay, so raised button, new raised button. Okay, new raised button, on pressed, null, text color we do not care about. Anything, is there anything we care about? Okay, we care about child, so child, and that child should be a text widget, and this text widget should contain press me. Okay, and then we make it work. Okay, so we have got this button. On pressed is null, so let's add a new method. Show dialog. Okay, press me, show dialog. Okay, let's rename it something else. Make dialog. Okay, so that it does not clash with some built-in method. Okay, all right, and from this tutorial we can see that we have to create this method void add number. Okay, let's go back to this thing. Here widget build here we have to write a method here, void make dialog. Okay, do we have to pass in any argument? No, we do not have to. And then from this tutorial, this is how you can create a dialog. So show dialog, and then this context can be null, and then builder. Okay, builder context, then we have to return alert dialog. Is it so? But it is giving me an error. I think we need a comma here. Show dialog context builder build context. Everything is just right, man.
What seems to be the problem here? Expand to find this thing. Okay, we need to put in this. Okay, now
everything seems to be correct. And where is our press me? Let's see if anything happens. We have got an error. So let's try to rectify this thing. And this will give us an idea about the debugging process of Flutter. Context null is not true. So we have to pass in the context. Now what is the context here? Build context. Okay. My home app, my page. So can we create like context? This seems to be a global variable, I guess. Alright. Press the button. Can you guys see any pop-up? I cannot. Alert dialog. Okay, I think we have to add something to this alert dialog, like this title and all. Okay, let's quickly add this. Title, new text. Hi. Okay, and quickly reload this thing. Okay, so we have got our dialog. Hi, and this completes our ultra simple application using Flutter. So I think that once you have everything set up, once you have everything in place, creating the entire UI out of this Flutter is like quite simple, I guess. But we have not yet experimented with navigations and states and also like, but from this standpoint, I think that it is quite easier. All you have to do is to just make proper hierarchies of widgets. And once you do that and you hook in those widgets inside the entire, like what, page or something like that, then you can just plug in the event handlers and then you are good to go. Although I do accept that it won't be as simple as what I have described it to be, but still I think that creating an application with Flutter is quite easy. With that, we have reached to the conclusion of this video. This was a video which was like quite different from the other videos which you get to see on the channel, or like the sort of content we upload on this channel. But I thought that it would be a good idea to experiment with something new on the weekend, and along with you guys I have also learned something about Flutter, because earlier I just tried installing this Flutter toolkit. I never created even a simple application using Flutter, but now I did, and I think that I can, hack around a little more with Flutter and make some more videos about Flutter in future. So let me know in the comment section if you really enjoyed this sort of a video, because I'm just experimenting with this stuff. I am not very sure whether the audience will like this sort of content or not, but you guys have to guide what sort of a content you would love to see on this channel. So in case you are new here, make sure to subscribe to this channel, because we talk about software development and all on this channel. And do not forget to give this video a thumbs up in case you enjoyed the content of this video. If you have any sort of suggestion, the comment section is the place where you should chime in. So take care, bye bye, and I see you around.